To have Miss June joining us today. A short intro to Miss June. She is the ISO Management System Consultant of One Island Consultancy. She has 8 years of audit coaching experience, helping more than 300 companies obtain certifications. Ms. June is specialized in being a lead auditor, and implementer in ISO, GMP, HACCP, Food Safety, Preventive and Control Alliance. Yes, over to you, Ms. June.
Thank you, Ms. Lim. All right, okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So today I'll brief introduction about quality management system. So let's talk about the fundamental. So let's say for exports, okay, so by the way, my presentation will be in English lah. All right, so just turn on the translation mode. So the fundamental ISO standard, which is for export purpose, okay, is ISO 9001, which is quality management system. That's why the title for today's presentation is quality system for export. Next, okay. Next slide, please. Okay, so what is ISO 9001? So of course, don't worry, besides ISO 9000, we also will talk about for manufacturing and for food safety. So what is ISO 9001 and then for 2015 version? So normally when you see that people getting the certification, right, is either first continue improve their company or organization system or meeting customer requirement. So as you know, right, in our Malaysia, there's no mandatory requirement that in order for you to export to any country, you need to get certification. ISO certification, there's no mandatory requirement, all right, but depends on your customer requirement and which country that you export to, right? Some country, right, for example, like China, besides getting this ISO certification, you also need to get your product tested in the country, and also the certification which is accredited by China accreditation body. Okay, so there are two purposes for getting this system: continuous improvement and also meeting customer requirements. So before you export, please make sure that your customer requirement first. All right, okay, next slide. Okay, so you look at this supply chain, why we encourage and want our customer to obtain this ISO 9000 standard. Let's say today you are a manufacturer or even trader, okay, so you're looking for supplier or vendors to supply you product or services. Okay, so which vendor that you're looking for? Definitely you need them to be a quality vendor, correct? So how you judge them as a quality vendor? You, for example, you select like 3 vendors. So those vendors that have ISO certification, right, it will outshine their competitors. Then definitely you will have more confidence on their service and product. So same happens to your customer. So let's say in order to export to a country, you want to penetrate a new industry or new potential customers. So how you gain confidence on them? Beside customer testimonial, so the most persuasive method, which is get this international recognized standard, ISO 9000. That's why in a supply chain, having this system in place is very important. Okay, next. Okay, those are benefits of having ISO standard, okay, system in your organization. First, better internal management. Why? A lot of people misunderstand that ISO is ini susah orang. That means very troublesome, a lot of paperwork. So I just want to clear your doubt that ISO standard doesn't focus on the paperwork, okay? Don't misunderstand, all right? So we talk about documented system, not system of document, okay? So it's two different things. So when you have system in your organization, you have SOP in place, you will have better internal management. So all your staff follow procedure, make sure your product, your quality, or your service and product are consistent. So that's why you can look at the second benefit, consistent outcomes, you can monitor and measure. So therefore, your productivity, your staff productivity increase, and that directly, it also will increase your revenue and profit. Okay, so for manufacturing line, some companies think that a wastage actually is also contribute to part of the profit. So let's say if you not control your wastage, not have proper planning on your material, so it might also affect your profit. So you can take it as a KPI to reduce your wastage, especially for production, okay, a production division. So next, improve customer retention and acquisition. So let's say you have this international recognition. So then your customer will have more confidence on you. They will stay on you because your quality, your system, make sure that your product and your service are quality. All right, the consistency. And of course, the globally recognized standard can improve your credibility credibility and image as well. So those are the benefits, but you must really implement the system, all right? Because we talk about procedure, we talk about system, then the whole organization, then our team must really implement the system. Then only you can see these benefits. All right, next. Okay, so if let's say quality management system, what are the differences between a company with ISO 9001 compared to a company without ISO 9001? A company with ISO 9001, what are the extra things that need to do? Because a lot of people thought it's very troublesome because you need to do a lot of extra things. So you look at these points, then you understand why having this system is so important and it actually benefits you. First, vendor evaluation. Compared to a company without ISO 9001, without ISO certified, they don't do vendor evaluation, all right? But of course, some companies, they do practice, okay? They do practice, but they're not certified, okay? Also have. So they evaluate the vendors. A company with ISO certified, they evaluate the vendors every year to make sure the vendors are quality enough. Because if you have quality vendors, then only your service and product will be quality. In a supply chain, they are related, okay? So second thing, you monitor your customer satisfaction. Let's say you penetrate a new market, okay? Then you target a potential customer. So your potential customer asks you, how are you going to prove to us that your current customers are happy, okay, with your current service, okay, your existing customer? So you, beside testimonial, like I said, testimonial is not persuasive enough, but having this international recognized standard, then you can make sure your potential customer have confidence on your organization. Okay, so it also required you to monitor customer satisfaction. Then third thing, quality, because we talk about quality. So you need to perform incoming quality checking, okay, on your material that you receive, ongoing quality checking during process, okay, during the production, outgoing checking, that means before delivery, okay, you need to make sure the quality, your product is quality, okay, and after sales service also important, and make sure you maintain and have service properly your infrastructure, those equipment, machinery, okay, software, keep on updating, okay. So these are the extra things that a company with ISO 9000 they need to do compared to a company without. So this is also the reason why your customer will have more confidence on you, because you have all this requirement met. Okay, next. Okay, next slide. Yeah, next. Okay, so beside 9001, because I know a lot of manufacturers here, so the other two standard, especially food industry, okay, which is good manufacturing practice. For good manufacturing practice, we focus on environment to make sure no cross-contamination, clean environment, okay? So for factory and manufacturing side. So for good GMP, we have few category. We have GMP for food, GMP for medical device, for pharmaceutical products, for cosmetic, for animal feeds, okay, for traditional medicine. So like I said, there's no mandatory requirement, but for food industry, like when you export, right, according to the Customs Act, you need to get a health cert or free sales cert, okay, from our Ministry of Health. So let's say today, if you have GMP and HACCP cert, the process of getting this health cert and free sales cert, okay, is faster, okay, it's much more faster compared to a company without certification at all. So they take times to process their free sales cert or health certificate, okay. So like medical device, if you want to export your medical device, you need to get a notification letter from our MDA, Medical Device Authority. So this is to comply Customs Act, okay. But GMP hazard is actually not written that mandatory, but it's actually can facilitate the process of the export, okay. So HACCP stands for Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Point. GMP is focused on the environment. You must have a clean manufacturing environment, okay, personal hygiene practice to your staff, okay, training. Then HACCP, we focus on the process and the product. So what is HACCP? Critical control point is the point that you need to control carefully and critically to make sure the product is safe to consume, okay. So okay, let's see what is CCP first. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, CCP, critical control point. Okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, next. Okay, so let's say like pasteurization process for milk, temperature and duration. let's say the during pasteurization process, 63 degree, Celsius, and then 15 seconds. So more one, let's say more one extra 1 degree Celsius or less also not acceptable. The whole batch must be discarded. So you must control that process critically. That's what we call critical control point. Okay, or having metal detector at last stage. Okay, it also can help you to get rid of physical hazards. So this is also critical control point. So especially for food industry. Okay, so recently I have many customers that they ask me, June, what about ISO 22000? Actually, ISO 22000 is the highest ISO. The standard for food industry. Okay, beside like FSC, BRC. Okay, because GMP and HACCP is actually not accredited. Okay, unless you get under Malaysia standard MS 1480. But for ISO 22000, ISO means international recognized. Let's say today your company have GMP, good manufacturing practice, and you also implement PRP, prerequisite program, give personal hygiene training for your team, okay, sanitation program. That's what we call PRP. And your company also start implement HACCP onto your system. All right, that means focus on your process and product. And slowly you want to upgrade to 9000 quality. Not only food safety, you also want quality, right? You also need to prove to your customer that your service and product are quality enough. So all combination GMP plus HACCP plus 9000 is actually ISO 22000, which is food safety management system. So normally my customer, normally when they ask, right, whether they want to proceed for GMP or HACCP, I will suggest them, if you have the budget, just might as well go for ISO 22000, which is international recognized. Okay, because GMP and HACCP it is not accredited, and then depends on the country that you export to. So I can say not international recognized, but most of my customers, right, still accept, okay, they are HACCP and GMP. Okay, so food safety management system is ISO 22000 2018 version, which is the new version. Okay, so like I said, not very troublesome, not very difficult, also not focused on paperwork, but all the evidence support your process and to make sure the food safety compliance is there. Okay, so next slide. Okay, so what are the benefits of having this system? Okay, you may ask that, June, very complicated, so maybe I have to spend money and also manpower. Okay, don't misunderstand, you don't need to hire a person just for ISO purpose, no need. Okay, just make sure the process owner, everyone is committed. Okay, so make sure your production are controlled, quality controlled, make sure the food safety is there enough. Okay, you don't need to hire, but there's no requirement that you must hire a extra manpower just to take care of ISO. To save your business money in long run. Actually, having ISO system is to help you to save money, not asking you to spend money. Okay, avoids you poisoning your customers. Okay, beside quality, so food safety or your product safety. Okay, not only food, but if you're selling other product like medical device, so also make sure the quality is there. Okay, it's safe to use and consume. Okay, so the standard increase, the food safety, the quality standard increase. Make sure yourself and your team are comply with the law. Okay, so organize your process to produce safe product, safe food and safe product. Organize your staff, promoting teamwork and efficiency. Like I said, everyone must get involved and committed. Okay, so due diligence, defense in the court. So those are the benefits. Okay, so back to square one. You can only see the benefits when you really implement the system. Okay, so that's why we encourage our customer is, let's say you want to export the product to a country which is new to you. Okay, you never penetrate that before. So it's advisable for you to get this ISO system in place. Okay, next. Okay, so quality, okay, quality, safety, next. So prevention is better than cure. So we talk about pricing, okay? So I think last but not least, many of you concerned about the pricing. Okay, next slide. Okay, so how to proceed? So first, for ISO project, right, you have two entities involved. Consultant like us helping you to get all the documentation or procedure, SOP in place. Okay, and then you have another party called auditor. So not account auditor, is ISO auditor. So seem like having SPM examination, you must have tuition teacher and examiner. They cannot be the same person. That's why you have two companies involved. All right, because conflict of interest. Okay, so consultant need to understand your requirement, need to understand your company process. Okay, need to understand what you need. Okay, your scope, your business nature. Then make sure you have enough resources. Okay, that means your process owner are ready, HOD they are committed. Then we start develop the procedure. We write what you do currently. After you have the SOP, then you need to practice. You write what you do what you write. Okay, you need to start implement and operate accordingly. Okay, operate accordingly. So after that, giving yourself like 3 months operation implementation period, then you can start monitor your team performance. Make sure they are following SOP. Okay, so everyone follow SOP, then you can see the improvement. You need to monitor and measure the result from the implementation. Okay, so review, evaluate, then improve. So after that, you are ready, proceed to external audit by certification body. So that's why the costing, right, for consultation can ranging for 10,000 up to 50,000, 60,000. It depends on your business nature, depends on your size of the company, and also your, of course, definitely your location. Okay, so it's very subjective. So if let's say you ask, how much do I need to invest? Because I want to, you need to calculate your ROI. So in order to export, I need to get ISO certification. So how much should I invest? So we need to see what's your product, how many processes involved. For food industry, how many critical control point you need to control, and then manpower, whether they are ready, size of the company, and also last but not least, the location. Okay, so there will be 2 fees. Okay, one consultation fees and also certification fees. Okay, next. Okay, so that's all for my presentation. So like I said, so having ISO certification is actually not compulsory, but it's good to have because you outshine your competitor and also give confidence on the potential customers. Okay, back to you, Ms.